welcome to another episode of Brettcast Gaming Talk. Yep, I'm here to talk about the game that, when it released, was definitely probably the most hated game ever and turned the company that made it into one of the most hated game developers ever, and that's not really changed. That's right, I am going to be talking about Star Wars Battlefront II 2017. The first aspect of the game that I want to talk about is going to be the multiplayer, because it's actually pretty fun. Yeah, I just spent most of my time playing against bots, but it's not all that different from PvP multiplayer. The maps are pretty decent, though I'm not a fan of the Geonosis map. I find it to be too big, especially in a 10v10 match, which is the most you can do. But that's really the only map I'm not a fan of. I like that there are maps from the prequel, original, and sequel trilogies, and I like that there's a really good amount of maps to be played on. This is some of the most fun that I've had in a multiplayer setting since probably Halo Infinite, and that is saying something for me because I don't really care about multiplayer in shooter games, and I will only play bot multiplayer in shooter games like once on each map and then I move on. I've not moved on from Battlefront 2's multiplayer. In fact, I even reinstalled it to keep playing it since I have that much fun playing it. The second aspect of the game that I want to talk about is the co-op missions. I wasn't actually going to play these, but I took a stab and I tried them, and they're really great fun. There are only missions, if you ask me, in the sense that you and 3 other players, plus some AI people, are going to be either attacking or defending points on the map. If you capture a point, you move on to capture another one, and you do that like 3-4 times until the match is over. It's a fun mode for sure, but I don't really consider it missions just because it's objective based that you're capturing points. But it's still pretty dang fun, so I mean, give it a shot. Finally, I'm going to talk about the campaign. Yes, this game has a campaign, much in the way that, Titanfall 2 has a campaign, but the first Titanfall was just multiplayer. Anyway, it has a really simple story where you start as an elite squad of basically TIE pilots, because that's what their outfit is most akin to. You play as Iden Versio and her squad. They go on a mission when they see the Death Star 2 get blown up. From there, the squad starts to lose faith in the Empire, to the point that they all become good guys and fight for the rebellion. There are some missions where you get to play as Leia or Han Solo, some missions where you have to fly a starfighter and do starfighter combat, and that is all well and good, but the actual story itself, it is so basic that it's kind of boring, but there is enough action that happens that it doesn't ruin the game. Now, I don't personally like the starfighter combat sections, but that's more of a me thing and not anything against the game, because this game has really good flight controls, much better than past EA games like Battlefield 1 or Battlefield 5. So yeah, I really like playing Battlefront 2. I have a lot of fun playing it, more than I probably should. The campaign is pretty alright, but the most fun to be had, if you ask me, is in the co-op missions in the multiplayer, whether you play PvP multiplayer or bot multiplayer like I prefer to do. The game is also a ton less monetized than it was at launch, and most of the cosmetics, you can just get them if you just buy the Celebration Edition of the game, which I would advise doing. Otherwise, it's like a $25 upgrade to that version of the game. Unless you're I remember getting this game for like $2-3 on sale. The regular edition, not the Celebration Edition. So I probably will eventually just pay the $25 to get that version of the game. Star Wars Battlefront II 2017 is a good and enjoyable game. That's all I have to say, so if you like what you see and hear, feel free to subscribe. If you're out of the conversation, leave a comment below. As always, thanks for listening, and goodbye.